Some techniques for teaching that I could use in my classroom to reach all the various learning abilities in the classroom could be staying organized with filing systems and cubbies, instead of giving each student a cubby for just their lunchbox or backpack. The cubbies the cubbies could be set up with multiple shelves in each for each subject that I teach them. This way, they can have a slot for their specials, like their art class and their music class, and they can keep some clothes for PE or something along those lines. There would be about shelves ideally. I thought about this a lot clearly, but there would be like 6 shelves, maybe one for the backpack and lunchbox, and one for specials, 4 for the other classes like language arts, science, math, social studies, etc. Um, this will allow for a lot more efficiency in the classroom and productivity, and transitioning will be 10 times easier, and students will stay organized. And when it's time to go from one class to the next, all you gotta do is say, go get your social studies stuff, and it shouldn't be an issue to find it. I read in the textbook that about sequencing and how developing a second figure of speech could assist in the mastery of a topic. So, like, the example from the book was when you're teaching a class about metaphors, you could use the characteristics of a metaphor as the first teaching point, and then provide a bunch of examples, or just a few depending on what's going on. And then after that, in the class, you feel like the class is mastered enough, you can be confident that you can add a second figure of speech. For example, like adding a smile after making a point, or trying to give them another example of a metaphor. You could tell them about a smile and explain that and that will reinforce the teaching concept with more examples. The smile and the metaphor are pretty similar because they're both figures of speech, just presented differently to the students. And at the end of this example of metaphors and smiles, they have a dictionary definition example and a real world example. Providing different types of examples can reach a wider range of diverse learners, and it gives everybody an equal opportunity to learn differently. Personally, I feel like hand gestures are a great way to engage younger students in a classroom because they find it a lot more appealing and easier to interpret than just sitting there and listening and reading a book. Younger students are a lot more better at learning by watching and doing, so the inclusion of interaction physically will allow them not just to stay focused, but also learn a lot better. Another technique I've always been kind of interested in incorporating. It goes along with the gestures and second figure speech a little bit of smiling, and um, I really have been interested in doing a lot of a lot of acting stuff out, and like it's easier for example. So to give an example, when you're reading as a class, like a novel or story as a class, you can have a group of students who possibly have a lot more time, struggle a lot more than most with staying on task or staying focused on reading words on a page or just listening. You could have them act it out in front of the class as it's being read. That way, you'll have 3 different methods of learning going on. You can have watching, listening, and reading and seeing. And it also broadens the range of diverse learning and gives multiple ways for many different types of learners to understand the content and comprehend what's going on. Um, for the second part, I said, first of all, an advanced organizer can basically be 2 things. It's an introduction to a new topic, or a task planner designed to orient the learner to a task by providing organizational cues. Analogies are a powerful advanced organizer because they help clarify something called a cognitive organizer. And the reason that analogies can be a lot less helpful, though, for an advanced organizer is because it doesn't really indicate the purpose of the organizer and is often associated with confusion and complexity, not clarity, simplicity, and organization. Um, An advanced organizer uses analogies to introduce a new topic and clarify new topics. So that's another positive. And one more positive thing would be that it allows for multiple forms of learning to take place and allows students to have a much better chance for success.